All right, so I've been using some software that I developed to test some strategies that have been working out. And I just want to show kind of what the best winners are of these strategies and how to do them. I've got two indicators that help with these. Mainly, we have one strategy that's designed for scalping. Most of these are designed for very quick scalps. Um, the top ones here, you'll see where it says the minutes of the candle, 2 minute PSP in an FVG, 2 minute plus bias, 2 minute in DFR. DFR means defining range. Now, I've categorized these by the best ones for the morning session in the New York session and the best strategies based on win rate. So here, the top one is 70% win rate, going down to 60. Anything over 60 is good in my book. 80% win rate on this ES strat, which is on the 1 minute time frame, and it says between 0.5 and 1.0, and I'll explain what that is. But let's go to the charts and kind of show you examples of what these trades would look like. All right, so let's dive into the main winning strategy in the New York AM session. I know everyone likes to trade in the New York AM. It's one of the most popular times to trade between 6 a.m. and noon. So let's go in, and this is the top performing automated backtesting strategy that I've been able to find over the last 4 weeks doing my software development on some backtesting. I've been using the Top Step Project X API and Python code and um, figuring out some strategies and testing them and seeing, well, what's my win rate? Now, so the New York AIM session, now what you got is you have between 6 a.m. and noon is when you're going to have your best performing trades. Now, the best performing trades happen to be on silver on the 2 minute time frame between 6 a.m. and noon. And I'm going to show you examples of what those trades would look like. Now, I have two indicators that I rely on for all of these strategies. And these are indicators that I developed. Here we have the first one. This is the main one. That's the PSP plus FVG. What this is going to do is highlight PSP candles, which are precision swing points. Those are candles where you can get more details if you learn quarterly theory. I've got the indicator to mark them for you, so you don't have to stare at a bunch of charts. Now, what this also does is it highlights fair value gaps that happen, that line up with the precision swing point candle. The precision swing point candle will then act as, say, like a breaker, where you can either enter long or short from. So there's some nuance to us, and I'm going to explain how to do it in this video right now. Now, a second indicator that I use is the auto fib, which that shows you the defining range for the intraday trading. Is going to tell you where most likely you're going to end up if it's a bullish day or a bearish day. Let me show you that. On a bullish day, you're going to typically end up in these levels. So here's the defining range in the gray box. Now, the bullish days will typically bring you to the levels 2.0 and 2.5. You might have a manipulation leg that goes up to 1.5 if it's a bearish day, and then it'll go back down below. Now, on a bearish day, you're going to get price to typically get down to about negative 1.0 for a low. Now, check out silver on Friday. It just ripped. It was crazy. It went above the defining range, the highest point, and it kept on going. So, how do I use the defining range? Some of the strategies utilize bias, and to determine bias on a bullish day, of course, you're going to be hanging out above the defining range towards these positive areas. In a bearish day, you're going to be hanging out towards the low end of the defining range and hanging out and going towards the lower projections. So now what I'm going to show you is the strategy of the 2 minute time frame, which is called PSP in an FVG. Let's just show you what it looks like. So again, it's best performing between 6 a.m. and noon. The idea has to form between those times. Now, the idea forms when a fair value gap closes or when it gets created, right? So a fair value gap is a 3 candle structure. You got candle body in between two neighboring candles, and the candle body doesn't share the wicks. The wick area doesn't overlap it from candle 1 and candle 3. Then you get your fair value gap. Let me show you the first example here. So what you need is a PSP candle that lines up with a fair value gap. Let's go here. So in my PSP and PSP and FVG indicator, the PSP candles are going to be highlighted with a green triangle. Now, the FVGs that line up with PSPs are going to be painted green. Now, bearish FVGs that line up with PSPs are going to be painted red. Okay, and so what we do is we find, okay, well, we need a PSP high that lines up inside a fair value gap body. And here we have one. So the entry is going to be the top of the PSP candle. The stop loss is going to be a 0.5 projection below the FVG candle. And take profit is going to be 1-to-1. Okay, so we have this FVG candle at 6:40 on July 11th, 2025. So if you want to go back to your candle or your charts, look at silver. It is ticker SI. Look at the fair value gap formed at 6:40 on the 2-minute chart. That lines up with the PSP candle that was formed at 6:18. All right, so the top of the PSP candle is your entry. It is only confirmed after the 642 candle closes and it creates a fair value gap. Then we have a 0.5 projection based on the fair value gap. Okay, so entry is going to be the top of the PSP candle. TP is going to be a 1-to-1. And again, stop loss is a negative 0.5 projection based on a fib that you anchor from the top to the bottom of the FVG candle. So let's just do that real quick. So if we go top to bottom, top is going to be about here. Bottom is anchored to the bottom of the FVG candle. That lines up with the PSP. So stop loss is the negative 0.5, which is just here. And your TP is going to be 1-to-1. So as you can see, the entry touched in the very next candle, and you got a take profit in the very candle after that. All right, so let's carry on. Let's find our next bullish example. Now here we have a bearish example. This one here at 648. This is a bearish fair value gap. This one is valid because, as you can see, the PSP candle here at 646, that does line up with the bearish fair value gap. So this here would be an entry with your stop loss would be about here, and your take profit would be 1-to-1. Now, on this one, you don't get entry because one more thing as part of the back testing, you have the best win rate if the retest of the PSP candle happens within 5 more candles. So if you're on the 2-minute time frame, you have 10 minutes to get your limit order hit. So we put our limit order at 38.46. It doesn't get hit within 5 candles. It actually takes quite a few more candles to get there. And as you can see, stop loss gets hit almost immediately once it's entered. So that's another example of why the win rate decreases as you give it more time to enter. So if it's been 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 14 minutes, your win rate is going to decrease. So you might as well just cancel the limit order. And these entries, these valid entries, they pop up all the time. As you can see on this day, you're going to see a lot of valid entries showing up. Let's show you the next one. Now, also keep in mind, we're in bullish territory. So we're above our defining range. We are in the positive area for the day. We're on a bullish ticker. So you also increase your win rate if you follow the trend, of course. So we're in the bullish area. We could follow bullish ideas and it will increase our win rate slightly. All right. So here we have some more PSP candles, again, highlighted with the green triangle. These are all PSP candles. Now, this one here at 7:20, July 11th, 2025, it does line up with this fair value gap. It lines up perfectly with the fair value gap that formed at 7:30. Now you might say to yourself, well, that fair value gap's not that big, and that's okay, because in the software, we do not detect if the fair value gap is small or big to determine whether we're going to go in. We've tested the win rates by increasing the requirement of the fair value gap size, and it does not improve the win rate. So what improves the win rate is how soon after the candle formation comes to retest the PSP. That's it has to be within 5 candles or soon after the fair value gap forms. So count 5 candles, maybe give it up to 10 candles. That'll slightly decrease your win rate, but not by much, maybe by 1%. All right, so now we have entry. We're measuring the stop loss based on that fair value gap candle, which is this candle here. Let's bring it down to about a 0.5. And our TP is going to be 1-to-1, which is about here. So we enter at 740, which is a PSP candle in itself. That could form bullish ideas later on, but we're already in a trade, and we TP at 752. So that's a 10-minute trade, and let's count how many candles did this happen within. It happened in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles. So this was a winner. It did happen over our 5 candle rule, but again, it happened very close to the 5 candle rule, and that is okay. It slightly will trim down your win rate. So the faster it can come back and test your precision swing point, the better. Don't let your limit orders hang out forever. And let's try to find a losing example. Okay, so here we go. We've got actually multiple precision swing points that line up with this fair value gap. Now, this is a bearish example. So this is bearish fair value gap. This would only work for bearish trades. So this would be an entry right here on this precision swing point. Your take profit would be like far under. It's a large fair value gap. So now it doesn't give you entry. It's happening in a lot of candles. That doesn't give you entry. Let's come back. Let's say, all right, we have a bullish candle example. So this could be entry. This does line up with the fair value gap right here at 830. Okay, TP would be about here. Stop loss would be about here. And let's just see what we get. Maybe we get a loser, maybe not. It took a lot of candles, so basically that trade would not be valid. It's coming back within like 10, 15 candles. Now, it did work out, as you can see right here. It did enter. We got lucky on that one. That probably wouldn't be the best thing to do. We have a bearish example here where we have this PSP at 838. You have entry that lines up with the PSP and the fair value gap. I believe it's equal to the bottom of the fair value gap, which would be valid. And your stop loss would be somewhere like here. Your take profit would be 1-to-1, so maybe here. That would have worked out, but you got to count. Okay. Oh yeah, actually. So potentially it touched in within about 3 or 4 candles. So these candles at 846, or actually not 846, potentially this candle at 850 would have got you in the trade. And then it would have not taken you to profit yet. You'd hang out and then eventually get to take profit at 920. So anyway, this is my 2-minute PSP in an FVG strategy. I've been back testing this. I discovered this when there was a very bullish overnight gap open. Price was running up. I thought to myself, well, it's going to be a bullish day. Where can I enter? I looked for my first PSP candle on the 5-minute, and I saw that it was in line with the bullish fair value gap that formed after it. And I thought to myself, well, I wonder if that makes the fair value gap more likely to give support. And it did. It ended up working as a trade. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, maybe this is something we can back test to see what's the win rate. And it turns out it's a pretty great win rate in certain sessions on certain tickers. So silver is great in the New York AM session, ES in the London session, YM in the YM and gold in the New York PM session. So so check out my indicators. If that helps you, you can have access to them. Just look in the comments. You can get access to the Discord or find me on X if you have any questions or you need to be taught like what is a PSP candle, how to enter, when should I take the trades, what's the best session, and I hope to be able to help you out. All right, so here's what my gains were from doing the 2-minute PSP in an FVG strategy on Friday. So in the New York PM session, it is really good on gold, so on the ticker GC, and also ES. So I find the best win rates between GC and ES and silver on the 2-minute, also the 1-minute. And following the bias for the day is really good too. That helps your win rate on gold. And if you do the 15-minute time frame with that same strategy, just on a different time frame, it happens more rarely, but you can have very good win rates on YM. You're going to see that mainly in the PM session, the New York PM session. So that's between noon and the New York market close. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Look in my bio for more information. Check me on Twitter, and then let's make this bag. Thanks.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.